That time of the week again. Oh well. Let's crack a cold one and get on with this. Well, room temperature one. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Arr. Greeting, hello, salutation. I do that in the singular because although there might be several people watching, I'm speaking to people individually. Yes, the late great Terry Wogan said that. Sammy B, how you doing? Yeah. When asked why his Radio 2 breakfast show was so popular, he said, because I broadcast to individuals, not to 7 million people. I broadcast to the person that is listening. That one person. Not everyone. So in that way, it feels more personal. I kind of took that to heart because it makes sense. I'm not that I've got 7 million viewers. I mean, if I had 7 million viewers, I would probably have a heart attack. Hell, some days if I had 7, I'd be quite happy. Yeah. That probably doesn't help. Yeah, completely lost my train of thought. There we go. Yeah, as he says, we broadcast to one person, that person that is listening or watching. There might be millions of people that are listening and watching at the same time. But if you make that one person feel like you're broadcasting to them, then you make all of them feel like you're broadcasting to them. Yeah, very heavy and philosophical. When I'm here, it's just you and me. Your voice drowns the chaotic world out. Oh my God. My brain's chaotic enough for the whole world. Given the way that jumps and jabs and jives all over the place. Especially when I'm just sitting there in silence, dotting and dabbing diamonds onto a canvas or sticking bits of paper or plastic together or wiping paint on something. Yeah, my brain goes all sorts of weird places. And that's why I enjoy it, because it lets my brain sort itself out. I don't have to actively sort my own brain out. That's hard work. It really is. But if you can let your own brain have a clear out by reducing the sensory inputs, then it works very well. Yeah, pretty much going in my pocket, keep talking, I like the vibes. So this is where we need Jeff Castellucci. Hit some of his low notes. That'd be some good vibes down there, trust me. If you watch reactions to his songs, well, his covers, yeah, generally, especially from the lady reactors, they kind of have a similar response. I guess is a similar autonomic response. They start feeling a bit warm. Yes, it's called a Jeff Quake, apparently. Right up there with a floorgasm, which is what happens when you listen to Flo Jansen singing. Speaking of which, started and finished another diamond painting this week. Another 30 by 40 or 12 by 16 in American units of Floor Jansen. It is a custom one, so one of a kind. And that's up on the cave wall. Along with a couple, well, three more posters. An ultramarine, a Raven Guard, a Salt Marine, Warhammer 40,000, don't worry, and a Satanic Pagan Goat. I read the description, I was like, I have to have that. It's just a fairly black and white picture of a black goat in a graveyard. Looks cool. So yeah, got the floor done and dusted. Uploaded the cave tour video, which is actually already out of date because there's quite a lot has changed up there since then. Although I'll leave another one until I've done the rest of what I want to change. Filmed a couple more videos on the diamond painting. That was using the new camera mount that I got from UU. Yeah, that's working really well. Certainly much better than the fishing rod rest mount, mounted the wrong way round on my pole fishing seat box with a gorilla pod wrapped around one end of it, which is what I had been using for donkey's years. So yes, we now have a proper camera mount, which means the camera stays still. I'm not all cramped into a tiny area of the bench because I've got a seat box jammed up right beside me with a vertical arm coming up here and then leaning across that way, and I'm working around it like that, trying to do things on camera. Yeah, I've actually got room to move and do stuff and not bash it into the camera all the time. So yeah, that works really well. Definitely worth the tenner I paid for it. What else I went up to this week? I've started building the paper model of the Il Duomo Milano, the Milan Cathedral. There's going to be a lot of hot buttress action in that one. There's a lot of buttresses, some of which are flying buttresses. Gotta love a buttress. A good meaty and girthy buttress. Yes, I'm a perv. What else have we been up to? Work, filming stuff, unboxing stuff, doing that. Finished off Hasta, the figure of, only Ickle. But yeah, super happy with how he came out, because the King in yellow, and I didn't use any yellow paint. I used some sepia wash and yellow wash, but no actual yellow paint. So I'm very happy with how the tattered yellow robes turned out. And the tentacles. Got to get your tentacles right. Oh dear. And that pretty much sums up what I've been up to this week. Bit of weeding in the garden, but that's about it. It's been quite a moist week, so I don't particularly like going out there when everything's soaked or when it is raining, because wet. I want it to be enjoyable. I want to look forward to and enjoy my garden time like I enjoy my hobby time in the cave. Um, Looking after the fish, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, watching Japanese octopus hentai this week. Why wouldn't that surprise me? Why does that always remind me of that video, or I suppose you can call it a meme, of the girl trying to eat the live octopus and it suckers onto her face, nearly pulls her eyelid off. But yeah, I'd teach you to cook your food first, because that makes sure it's no longer alive. Yeah. What else has been going on this week? Really, not a lot. I have, aside from work, pretty much just been chilling in the cave. Um, yeah, not even really been watching anything super interesting on YouTube either. Mostly brain out kind of stuff and sort of a few hints and tips videos and things like that on diamond painting. Not that I've really found much of it any much use. How you do that, what products you use, all of it is purely down to personal preference. So, like the wax that you use to pick up the drills, it goes in the end of the pen, and there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different varieties and flavors out there. And they all just work. Some say they don't like this one because of this, or this one because of this, or you find one that suits you and you just use that. So far, I've found the one that comes with the kits, the pink wax, perfectly acceptable. It goes in the pen, it picks up the drills, it puts them on the canvas, and it lasts a good amount of time as well. I heard people go, oh, I have to replace it every half an hour. I'm like, yeah, half an hour, it takes like 10 seconds to do it. It's literally peel back the top of the wax, stab, get rid of any excess, back to dotting and dabbing. Really, oh, yeah, it really is a simple thing to do. Obviously, there are some who take it to the next levels where they're creating stuff purely themselves, not using a pre-made canvas, or they're changing up the drills that are used on the canvas, replacing certain colors of different types and stuff like that. But for me, I'm still plainly out of the box at the moment. Although, given the way I ended up going with scale models, it might not be too long before I start doing that. You buy the model, you open the box, and you go, what needs upgrading? And you go to whichever was your favorite website to buy the upgrades from, and you find yourself ordering turned metal gun barrels, aftermarket tracks, resin landing gear, resin engine nozzles, resin cockpit parts, photo etch sets, replacement decal sets, because the ones that come with the kit are awful. all these kind of things. Looking at the paint call outs and going, nah, that ain't right. I ain't using that. Although most of the time that's a specific Airfix kind of thing. Because I won't use Humbrol paint. I've never got on well with it. Yes, there are people who make it work, and oh, you just need to add 3 drops of this thinner and 2 drops of this reducer, and then add a bit of this and that, and then it works perfectly. And I'm like, yeah, or I could just use this, which is the same color, dries faster, and doesn't need any of that doing to it. Yeah, but it's more expensive. Yeah, now factor in the cost of all the other stuff you just added to that Humbrol paint to make it work like other brands of paint. Yeah. That said, I've probably got all that other stuff anyway. As you know, any scale modeler's cave or modeling station ends up basically being a chemical factory. Given the amount of weird and wonderful and random stuff we end up having. Most of it heavily and highly flammable and highly toxic as well. Because as we all know, the solvent-free, water-based, environmentally friendly version just doesn't work as well. It's the same with cleaning products. Right? If you want something cleaned and it's properly mucky, you need the old school cleaning product. The new environmentally friendly, safe, blah, blah, blah one just doesn't work. Well, it does. It just takes a lot longer and a lot more elbow grease. Yes, and I've discovered what the problem was last week with the pipe and why it wasn't drawing very well. The filter in the bowl was blocked, basically solid. It was pretty much a solid lump of tar, which is why it just didn't stay alight more than a second. So a good clean out, change the filter, and cook it on gas again. What else? Yes, found a new craft shop to visit today. So Mary and I went there, and they're closing down this month. So great. Starting the DP, getting the dog balls ready. Howdy, Muttonker, how you doing? Sunday is complete. So early in the day as well. Wow. It can only go uphill from here. Yeah. I'm just glad I haven't got to fill out a risk assessment on my man cave. Or hobby room is probably a better description these days. Or craft room, probably closer. Yeah, because if I had to fill out risk assessments, pardon me, like we have to do at work. So yes, we have to do a risk assessment on the washing up liquid. Any cleaning products, anything we use or come in contact with, we have to have a risk assessment done on. And if I did that in my cave, would it be in the US, OSHA? Yeah. They wouldn't let me in there. It's too dangerous. Yes, scalpels, craft knives, razor saws, nippers, cutters, hammers, cyanoacrylate, isopropyl alcohol, lacquer thinner, methyl ethyl ketone, accelerator, glues, paints. Yeah, there's so much in there that is actually dangerous. It's a miracle I come out of there alive some days. Perhaps I don't, and I'm actually not here. Perhaps this is just my ghost, which is why I look so pale and dead. Yeah. So that's pretty much is the extent of what I've been up to this week. And so yeah, I filmed one video about diamond painting and another one going through the ones I've been buying. And I would say an unboxing, but they're already out of the boxes. Not they come in boxes. The ones I buy anyway. Did have another custom piece turn up this week. Another one of Floor Jansen. One of Christina Hendricks should be here this week. So maybe I can get the Pegasus finished in time for Christina to turn up. That'd be fun. Yeah, I'm not rushing anything. Plus, I'm building the paper model of the Duomo, so that's going to take quite a while. It's 21 sheets of card. I've done 5 of them. But I think of what I've got left, I mean, 4 are like really simple sheets, like 1 or 2 bits. I think 2 of them is literally just cut out the flat shape, like a rectangle, just stick it on something. But there's other sheets which have got lots and lots of small parts that need folding and gluing and sticking in place. They're pretty much all buttresses or spires. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Might test my patience a little bit, but I'll get there. I'll get it done. This is also why I did start another diamond painting at the same time. So I've got something I can just brain dead do when I don't particularly want to be thinking about cutting and folding small pieces of card and gluing them. Like when I wake up early in the morning, or I got home from work, or I just got up from a nap, or that kind of thing. When the old brain isn't quite working properly and the old fingers might not be quite so dexterous, then I can just stick some diamonds onto a canvas and be making progress with something at least. And that's actually going to be a good size model as well. Not ridiculously big like Hohenzollern Castle was, although not far off of it. Just very dense. It started off as the normal cruciform or cruciform cathedral, as you'd expect, and then over the centuries has been added to and added to and added to. It's just got bigger and bigger, and basically the paper model reflects that. You start off building the central part, the cross-shaped bit in the middle, and then you just keep adding bits to it and going up and out and but yeah, I'll get there. It will get done at some point. Oh, why does this t-shirt always make me look like I've got massive saggy breasts? Probably because I have. Ugh. Except I haven't. I've just got an ample chest. Yeah, it's just the way this t-shirt sits, I swear. Got any more figures on the way? think I've got a couple more figures on the way. One of Nyarlathotep, another Lovecraftian elder god. So more weirdness and sensicles. One of Conrad Kerr's, the Primarch of the Night Lords Legion. Warhammer 40,000, and they are like the darky, evilly. They weren't exactly loyal when they were loyalists. But then they didn't exactly turn to chaos when they went traitor. But yeah, their whole shtick is fear. Fear is their weapon. So pretty much the Raven Guard, but the bad version of. Would have been an interesting fight, Corvus Corax versus Conrad Kurz. Didn't happen though, unfortunately, in the lore, because they were basically opposite sides of the galaxy. Yes. If you're looking for a way to lose many, many hours of your life, make that months probably, and you enjoy reading, the Horus Heresy. Done. Yes, you can just read them as books, but you got to read them in order, because otherwise it'll make even less sense. But because of the universe is based in, there's it's written as though the reader already has a basic understanding of how Warhammer 40,000 or 30,000 in this case works. So if you don't, then Mary's watched a few Warhammer lore videos with me by now, and yeah, it's still going right over her head. She's enjoying her diamond paintings as well, got to say, which I'm very happy with. About. So much so that she's ordered another 3 sets. She likes the little ones, the sort of not quite postcard size, but smaller ones that she can get done in a day and doesn't get all stressed and worried about. So her stash will technically be bigger than my stash. Maybe. What have I got? Yeah, given what I've got on order, mine will soon be bigger again. I think even the smallest one in my stash is bigger than any of the ones she's got. So there is that. Oh, that's another thing I've ordered, an A3 cutting mat. Because most of the diamond paintings I'm doing are around about A3 size, which is fine with 2 A4 cutting mats. Yeah, I've got lots of cutting mats, don't worry. But I'm thinking if I put them on an A3, then I can tape them down, which means they don't move about and they keep flat. And also a lot easier to move about. So if I'm working on 2 different things at once, like I like to do, means I can just easily move the diamond painting over to one side out of the way. So I don't go spilling paint or glue on it, or accidentally chopping it with a pair of scissors or a scalpel or something. Also discovered, don't use cheap poster paint or cheap acrylic paints on a canvas, or if you do, don't thin them, because when they dry they crack, so you end up having to repaint over it with your good paint. Yeah, See, this is the problem. I'm used to paint just doing what I want it to, because I got, you know, modelling paints that are designed for the job, and then you go and use our cheapy artist watercolours that I'm suspecting are supposed to be put on pretty heavily or used with a palette rather than a brush. And yeah, they don't like being thinned. And they certainly don't flex very well either. So yeah, lesson learnt there. Just use proper black primer paint, acrylic primer, latex based. Yeah, it flexes. Also, I'm going to have to buy some decent double-sided tape, probably carpet tape, because the cheap stuff. Hello, Froggy. Yeah, the cheap stuff doesn't hold anything to anything. It's just generally the way it is. And I'm also going to have to buy some small masonry nails to mount things to the wall. It's been okay on the wall. I have been putting things on so far, like posters and what have you, because that wall is plasterboard or drywall, which means I can get a drawing pin in it quite easily. Excuse me. The other walls are actually brick and solid plaster. Not going to be getting a drawing pin into those anytime soon. Are you still down there, Big Bob? Yes. Big Bob the narrow-eyed snail. Yeah, he's what, 6 or 7 years old now. So yeah, chonky boy. Must be a smart narrow-eyed, because the general reason most people lose narrow-eyes is they manage to fall off of something and land upside down, and they don't have any kind of self-righting mechanism. And if you don't spot them, let's say they fall behind a plant or into a piece of decor and they get stuck upside down, yeah, they die. Sad, but there we go. Bob seems to have learned to hang on. Or is just very lucky and manages to fall and then roll back onto his belly again. I really must have more to talk about. There must be something I can waffle about that's vaguely interesting. Yes. I think I have solved the problem of what to put up there. Come on, camera, refocus. I'm here. There we are. Because a couple of the diamond paintings I did order, I did a dumb. I didn't order them in the 40 by 30 size. I ordered them in 40 by 70, which is 16 by 24, 16 by 28 in inches. Why is my phone going silly? Yeah. So anyway, yes. Where was I? Today, yes, Mary and I went to a craft store that I discovered on Friday to have a look around, only to find out there's a 50% off sale because they're retiring, which meant there was absolutely sod all left in the shop. I did manage to get a couple of pots of ink for half price, so it wasn't a complete loss, but yeah. Not a single diamond painting, paint by numbers, paper model, paints, sensible brushes. Basically none of the stuff that I would use or have use for at all. So we're going to have to keep hunting and find more. Yeah, having a craft shop handy is always a good thing, or a hobby shop. Somewhere that sells the stuff that you want, basically. For those times when you run out of something and you need it, and you don't really want to be waiting for the internet. Yeah, waiting for the plane from China to turn up, or hoping that Amazon have got it. Because these places don't necessarily sell the brands you want. For example, if I'm buying inks, let's say I need a red ink for a project, which I probably will at some point, then it's either going to be Dale Rowney, Winsor Newton, or Liquitex. And you're not going to find any of them on cheaper sites. And you might find them on Amazon, but they're not going to be sold through Amazon, so they're not going to be on Prime. And there's also that thing of ordering glass bottles of ink on the internet is probably not the best idea. That said, I did find a bunch of diamond frames on Temu, or diamond painting frames, and they're perspex rather than glass, so they won't shatter. There's also some that are magnetic, so I'm guessing it's basically a flat piece of cardboard with magnetic strips stuck around the edge. Then a flat piece of clear plastic with a piece of magnetic strip stuck around the edge, and you just put the painting in the middle and drop the magnet over, and it holds it all together. And then you somehow nail it to a wall. Maybe decent double-sided tape or something like that. Because blue tack poster putty is not holding a diamond painting up. Because on a hot day it struggles to hold a paper poster up. So yeah, a canvas that's covered in plastic weighs a bit more. Hence why I was trying double-sided tape, but that didn't work. So I had to find a couple of nails and literally nail floor to the wall after I'd mounted her. Yes. Sorry. Just having dirty thoughts there for a moment. Unusual, I know. Just wondering where everyone is today. It's been very quiet in here. I think most of the time I've pretty much been talking to myself. If it stays quiet, I think we maybe do an hour. If it dies completely, then I might just bugger off earlier. Do I go up to the cave or do I start water changes? Cave. And our new router system thing at work has been very kind. I don't know why or what it thinks it's doing, but it's managed to give me every weekend off in August. And only put me in for one 4-day stretch, so I'm quite happy with that. And the 4-day stretch is the week before I've got a week off. And it's given me the Monday off that week as well, so I can get all the water changes done out of the way, and then I'm stress free the rest of the week, hopefully. As long as work's not as crazy as it was this week. First full week of the summer holidays here in the UK, that's why. So people have got the week off and are doing things around the house and what have you, plus paid. So yeah, it was a rather busy week. I managed to sell a £650 shower. Apparently these days you can now control your shower with your phone. Quite why, I'm not sure. But why they need programmable settings. Now, why you need a computer inside a shower is beyond me. It's just something else to go wrong. But it means you can start the shower and then it's ready when you get in. Or you could just go to the bathroom, turn the shower on, and by the time you've got undressed or brushed your teeth, just get undressed. Shower's going to be hot. How many different ways are there of getting wet from the top by being basically rained on? I don't know. Thought I could live without a Wi-Fi toaster until I got one. Yeah, you can get Wi-Fi kettles as well, and it's like, why? It's a Wi-Fi toaster. Yeah, you still got to put the bread in it or whatever you're going to toast, and you've still got to get it out. Same with the kettle. You stick the kettle on, and then you get the stuff ready to make the cup of tea or coffee or whatever. And by the time you've done that, the kettle's boiled. Because with the Wi-Fi one, you've got to make sure the kettle's full. You've got to make sure there's enough water in the kettle before you tell it to turn on. Yeah. Which means you've got to touch it anyway. Same with Wi-Fi light switches. Well, smart most things really, they're just completely pointless. But I can turn my light switch, I can turn my lights off from my phone. Right, so when you leave the room, you don't just go click. You have to get your phone out, unlock it, go to the app, and then turn off the lights. There's probably shortcuts or something, but you got to walk past the damn switch anyway. Yeah, I like a dumb home. I'm quite capable of turning things on and off myself, pressing a few buttons if I need to. There was a whole thing with the Xbox 360 with the Kinects, wasn't it? That you could tell it what you wanted it to do and it would do it. It was just annoying. because it never worked. And when it did, it was because it misheard you and did something completely random. And then they decided they were going to have a TV advert with the guy from Breaking Bad, I think it was. And apologies if you still got one. But part of the advert was he would sit there and he'd flunk down on his sofa and he'd go, Xbox on. What the hell do you think happened whenever because everyone had their Kinect sensor above or below their TV, so it picked up what the TV was saying. And as the Xbox was sitting there, had to be on standby, obviously, for the Kinect to work. Yeah, every time that bloody advert came on, the console turned on. So you then had to go to the HDMI channel on the TV, turn it all, give it a few seconds to boot up and get started, and then go Xbox turn off. It was just really annoying. So I think everyone I know who had a Kinect ended up just unplugging it. I know I did. I mean, it kind of had its uses, but it wasn't really accurate enough for any of it. It was a bit like playing the old gun games on the NES, like Duck Hunt. But yes, you were supposed to sit like 6-10 feet away from the screen or whatever. Or you could just sit right in front of it and just go bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And if there was anyone else in the room with you when you were using a game that utilized Kinect, anytime they moved, it screwed with it completely. You playing silly buggers in there today, Spotty? Huh? You got a Zoom on for some reason, have you? You're looking for Bertie, aren't you? That's what you're doing. He's got the horn again. Either that or she's secreting pheromones or hormones to let him know she's ready. Something like that. There'll be some bristlegasm going on, I'm fairly sure, fairly shortly. One of the clown plecos got me excited this morning because it was in the cave and it was doing wafties like bristlenoses do when they're on eggs, but I didn't see any eggs. That would be nice, breed some clowny plex. Not likely to happen though. Although I'm gradually getting the pH lower and lower in that tank. It's a case of getting the water soft enough. And the problem is, I think even our rainwater is too hard for clown plecos to breed in, so plenty of decaying detritus required. Just to pull it down that bit further. But then you get the snails that are in there, they die, and then as soon as you get the pH down below 7 and a couple of snails die, the acid erodes their shells and brings the calcium back in the water, which brings the pH back up again. So yeah, doubt I'm ever going to get it down to 5.5 or 5, which is what they need to breed. Plus, no, my luck, I've probably got 3 males again. Is there something going on stateside or something random going on elsewhere? Because it's been very quiet in here today. someone else streaming maybe. Someone more interesting. Actually, that's one thing that is free from tariffs, isn't it? Super chats and super thanks and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Thankfully, none of the tariffy stuff seems to be affecting the UK at all yet, so yay. Although that could just be that I don't buy anything that comes from the States, so I'm not going to notice any difference. Might be an idea to keep an eye on the American food section in the supermarket and see if they just, I mean, the stuff there is already pretty expensive. Oh, hang on. Spam's American, isn't it? Not that I buy it very often, but because Spam used to be the cheap alternative. Now it's almost cheaper to buy bloody gammon steaks than it is a tin of Spam. And I swear the tins are smaller as well. I used to be able to buy a tin and get like a week's worth of sandwiches out of it. Now I buy the big tin and get maybe 4 sandwiches out of it. So yeah, I think the tin's definitely got smaller. That was a good combination of cough and fart at the same time. That was safe, thankfully. I wonder if that means that I know we're getting tariffed. I don't know how much and what on and whether it affect. Because like Taco Bell and Wendy's have just started up in the UK. I've not been to either. I'm probably never going to go to either. But I'm wondering if because it's an American product, whether they would be hit with tariffs. Just suddenly bump their prices up however much and price them out of the market, basically. Although I don't think they're doing too well anyway. So you get the opening weekend, wow, this new thing, wow, we got to try it, we got to try the new thing. Everyone tries it and goes, oh, it's just like the other thing. Oh well. It's a burger and fries. They taste the same. Yeah, it's spud and cow. It's just going to taste the same. That's why we over here, when the whole Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich thing was going on, we're like, it's chicken. The only possible difference could be in the batter. And it ain't that different because batter is batter. It just depends what you put in the batter to spice it up, I guess. It's like, we're all just sat here confused about all that situation. We're like, what? Why? Why is everyone getting so excited and uptight about fried chicken? Fried chicken is fried chicken. The chicken all comes from the same factories. same farms. Debs, darling, how the devil are you? Good to see you. Was starting to think I was talking to myself again. Well, I'm getting quite good at that lately. But yes, I am just going to go for another 5 minutes, I think. We'll call it an hour today. It's been very, very quiet. I mean, literally what you can see there is the full extent of the chat. So I've been waffling for 56 minutes pretty much on my own. Oh, I don't need blessing. Blessings ain't going to take. Can I want to stay alight, or are we just down to ash again? And I left my pipe tools over there. So I'll finish the ciggy I started the stream with. And not much left of that either. So what's coming up on the channel? So yes, I filmed a couple of videos in the cave on diamond painting. Probably got another one to do. Although that might be a little while off, because it's probably best if I don't do a how I do diamond painting video, or which is what I call a how-to. Probably best I don't do that on an NSFW one of Christina Hendricks in lingerie. That's probably the next one I'm going to be doing. Might be best to say that for something a little more mainstream, shall we say. Maybe a hummingbird or a lion or something like that. Probably not one of the leopards, because I think that amount of just doing the same colour of black. I swear about 80% of the canvas is just black. Probably put people off. So something a bit prettier and nicer than skulls and Cthulhu and scantily clad ladies. And Grim Reapers and haunted castles and the like. You know what my general tastes are in things, and it's not Disney characters, it's not cartoony and cutesy, it's not Hello Kitty. Maybe the bad taste bears. Yeah, as I say, pretty much every diamond painting video I've seen online, and I will admit they're all by, should we say, women of a certain age group. The kind of people who are of the age group and have the money where they have time and money to do crafts. We will put it that way. Yeah, the things they tend to be into and enjoy aren't the kind of things that I'm into and enjoy. Let's put it that way, shall we? So yes. So I was going to say if we had a bunch of people here today, I would ask. So I'll ask anyway, there's a few, and someone might actually answer. If I were to do a live stream from the cave while I was doing diamond painting, how would people like that? So don't think any of my other, maybe figure painting, but then again, most of my figures are NSFW. Yeah, sort of I mean, not every week, obviously, but like a crafty stream, as it were. Although the problem is, I get carried away with what I'm doing and ignore the chat, and you just basically see the top of my head. Or I end up paying so much attention to chat that I don't pay any attention to what I'm doing and I make a mistake. If I use a waffle would be fun. Okay, doke. Might give it a go next week. We'll see how I'm feeling. All the week after, some point, I'll give it a go. Probably when I'm working on something that is safe for work, something that YouTube's not going to complain about because it's got female body parts or is scary. Yeah, don't want people to have to be scanning their face to prove they're 18 to watch my stream. If you're in the UK, you'll know what that's all about. Ye gods. Let's bring in a new law to protect children so they can't access things they shouldn't see on the internet. Oh, there's been a 1,400% increase in the amount of people signing up to VPNs overnight. Wonder why that happened. Group of firefighters work out the dog park. Managed to have a radio thing. Now ran to the truck and peeled out of here with the sirens blaring. Wonder how many. So there's either been a car crash or something's caught on fire then. Might be a burning car. Well, hopefully it's nothing too bad. So when we were coming back from the craft shop today, the A11 or the main road was closed. So there's been an accident there again. There was one the other day, which was a lorry and 6 cars. Quite how the heck people keep managing to have pile-ups on what is basically a straight dual carriageway. Yes, there are curves, but they're very, very gentle curves. Do I get on that transparent cleaning fad? Or you just clean? No, I didn't, but I have seen those. And how they get those through, I don't know. Today, I'm going to show you how to dust a shelf wearing completely see-through lingerie. Right. Yeah, I know you don't have to tell me. That kind of thing just turns up on my feed without me asking sometimes. What was it the other week? Suddenly had a bunch of burlesque shows turn up. I'm not complaining, but yeah, then the transparent try-on halls and all those kind of things. And you're like, there are people worried about saying words. There are people who are still worried about saying COVID or pandemic. They won't say them. And then you look at the next video and there's someone showing everything. Howdy, Raina. Looks like everyone decided to turn up just as I was about to finish. There we go. I'll go a little bit longer then. But yeah. Yeah, it is kind of funny. Although whether that is people being more concerned about the monetization or getting demonetized for saying certain words, which I think is probably the case. So, I can't say the German leader in the 1930s and 40s. No, you can say Hitler. You're talking in historical context. You can use these words in the correct context and you're fine. If I was talking about black paint in Spanish, I would be saying a word that people would find very offensive. But that's just what the Spanish for black is, which is where the slur comes from. Yes. Yeah, that's how these things tend to work out. Yeah. How do you do? Shreyas Mishra. No, Rainer is a worse slur you can call anybody. Oh no. Took the robot out since I got a new Mac carbon spoke wheels mounted with new tyres. Don't hit any potholes. Oh, got some angel fishies, or as I call them, demon fishies. Cool. Yes, when they're young and they're little, they're lovely and sweet and nice. When they get big and they get adult, that's when they tend to show their more cichlid side of their personality and get how should we say, a bit more murdery, a bit more. Oh, you're a pretty little fishy. Arr. Yeah, that's what angelfish do. Hence why I don't have any. Instead, in there we have wrong shoulder hiding up in down there. The most chill cichlids you will ever come across. As I call them, happy caras. Just keep them with real cichlids and start behaving, yeah. Because the other cichlids will eat the angelfish. Yeah. So yes, electric blue acara, the most chill cichlids on the planet. And I'm including things like rams and apistos and cribs. Cribs can actually be fairly aggressive, especially when they've got babies. The problem with that is cribs tend to be very good at making babies. And they're very protective parents, so a lot of the babies survive and you end up with lots and lots of cribs. And then you try to move said cribs on, and nobody wants them because everywhere's got hundreds of them. Yeah, my general rule of thumb is if I'm going to stick something in a tank that is kind of larger and more aggressive, shall we say, it's the last thing I'll put in the tank so it doesn't get a chance to establish a territory, and then I start putting other things in there. That's why you need a bigger cichlid when you're keeping cichlids. Always need a bigger cichlid. And then eventually you end up with the monsters like the Jags and the, oh, what's the other one that Scotty had? You know, the cichlids that get like that. And then they start breeding. And as someone around here found out, because they had a great idea, because they had a really big tank and they had a pair of jaguar cichlids, and they started to breed. So they made sure and they reared and they raised. And they had all these baby jaguar cichlids, and they're big cichlids, so they produce a lot of fry in the hundreds. And his big idea was he was going to sell these. You know, good idea, breed and sell. That's what I do. Yeah, stores didn't want any more than one. They were like, yeah, we'll take one off you. You're like, one what? One fish. Why only one? Because that's all we got room for, or all we will sell. Once we sold that one, we'll buy another one. Yeah, so he ended up with hundreds and hundreds of Jags. I don't know what happened. I guess he's either completely overrun with them or he's had to euthanize. You don't want to be having, mind you, if you got 300 jaguar cichlids in a tank, it's not going to be too long before you got one. One costs the same as 5. Yeah, pretty much. Yes, that's what happened there. Because he was of the idea that I'm going to breed these big special monster fish and everyone will want one. Maybe they did, they just didn't want the massive tank to deal with. If you've got a fish that's got the possibility of getting 2 foot long, you don't want to have a 6 foot tank with one fish in it. Yeah, it might look cool and impressive, but there's not a lot that's happening in that tank. They're not like the most brightly coloured and pretty fishies, so it's basically just spending most of his days sitting there going. And you put some food in, and it feeds, and it goes back to sleeping. Yeah, exactly. 99.9% of people, that's a completely made up statistic, if they had a 600 or a 300 gallon tank, let's say, well, it's like 1,200 litres, would rather have groups and shoals of smaller, pretty fish all over the place doing all sorts of behaviours and activities and being on show. And imagine how many cories you could have in a tank that size. You know, you'd have bristlenoses for days, cories for days. Well, I would anyway. Probably a load of apistos, because you got enough room for multiple territories, so that's not a problem. Then either hundreds of live bearers or smaller tetras and all sorts, just scootering around and having fun. And then some electric Luacara, because, you know, they're friendly and they don't eat all the other fish, usually. I'm pretty sure that they do snaffle the odd one, given that I found Bert with a Corydoras stuck in his mouth, but they don't tend to gobble them all down like, say, a Baisha would. Mr. Spaz cleared out the entire population of guppies in my tank in very short time. Followed by anything else that would fit in his mouth as he got bigger. So up to the point where he was eating full-grown XL swordtails and clown loach. And that's when it was like, sorry, Spazzy boy, we got to sell you. But hey, he went to a good home very quickly. I think he sold while I was still in the shop. He sold for 3 times what I sold him for, and I sold him for 3 times what I paid for him. Yeah, because he was a full-grown Senegal Baisha. Picture of health and friendly, tame. Literally, he had belly rubs and liked them. But anyway, oh, oh, that's enough for me for one day, I think. So next week I might be sat here, I might be up in the cave. We'll have to do that. I'm probably going to have to do something with the background, get rid of some of the random tap that's in the way. But thank you to everyone for showing up. Same time every week, 6 o'clock UK time. You can work it out from there for yours. But yeah, stay safe, everyone. Have fun. Enjoy your hobbies. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Hi, Graham. Bye, Graham. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do do.